She surged to the front in just the final stretch. She was the possessor of a powerful closing kick. The name of that horse is Harp Star. In this video, I will explain about Harp Star. Let's watch together her powerful and memorable races. Before we begin, let's start with some Japanese snacks. Harp Star is a female horse born in 2011. Her sire is Deep Impact, and her dam is Historic Star. While Deep Impact might need no introduction, he won numerous races including the Triple Crown in 2005. He has also been a highly successful stallion, creating an era of his own as a leading sire. Historic Star never raced due to an injury in her youth, but she boasts an impressive pedigree. Among the offspring of the famous mare Vega, who achieved the Double T era in 1993, Historic Star was the only filly. Vega is the first magnitude star in the constellation of Lyra. Vega is also known as Harp Star. The name Harp Star was given to a small filly, the third offspring of Historic Star. In July 2013, Harp Star made her debut race. It was a 1400-meter race at Chukyo. Harp Star was the favorite. She progressed through the race in the rear group, and as she entered the final straight, she moved inside and advanced forward. Then, around the 150-meter mark, she surged to the lead and widened the gap with the second-place horse. By the time she crossed the finish line, she already had a lead of 2 lengths. A month later, she appeared in the Grade 3 Nigata 2-year-old Stakes. She is also the favorite in this race. Right after the start, she quickly took the position at the back. She remained at the back throughout the final stretch. Even approaching the final stretch in Niigata's course, which is long, she was still at the back even with 400 meters remaining. However, she displayed a terrifying acceleration. From there, she quickly passed everyone in one go. The time Harp Star recorded for the final 600 meters to the finish line was an astonishing 32.5 seconds. By the time she reached the finish line, the gap between her and the second-place horse was already 3 lengths. The second-place finisher, Isla Bonita, would go on to win the following year's Satsuki Show, making this race later regarded as a high-level Grade 3 race. And at this moment, Harp Star began to be considered the leading contender for next year's classic races. Harp Star participated in the Hanshin Juvenile Phillies in December, about 3 months later. This race determines the champion of 2-year-old fillies. In this race, strong contenders who had defeated colts in preparatory races gathered. Despite that, Harp Star was favored as the top choice. Harp Star trailed in the back of the pack as usual during the race. In the final stretch, she sharply surged through the pack. At the finish line, 3 horses were closely lined up. In the middle was Harp Star. However, the winner was Red River on the outside. The race was decided by a mere few centimeters. Exactly 3 months after the close defeat, Harp Star participated in the Tulip Show, which is a trial race for the Oka Show. Since top contenders from the Hanshin Juvenile Phillies were absent, Harp Star garnered intense popularity, resulting in her odds for a win being 1.1. When the race started, she was trailing in second place as usual, counting from the back. As she rounded the final corner, she took the outside route. As she entered the final stretch, there was nothing obstructing her path. Harp Star's engine kicked into gear. Receiving the jockey's signal, she accelerated and reached a speed that was unmatched by others. And in one swift motion, she surged past everyone and took the lead. It was an easy victory with a lead of 2.5 lengths. In the race held at the same distance and on the same course as the Oka Show, she could be said to have made the best start. She entered the Oka Show in even better form than she did in the Tulip Show. She was fired up for a rematch with Red River. At the start, she quickly dropped back and settled into her usual position at the rear. The Oka Show tends to become a high-paced race, and this year, the pace of the race also quickened. HarpStar remained at the back of the pack as she approached the final corner, and even as she entered the final stretch, she was still in the last position. To ensure there were no horses blocking her path ahead, she moved to the outermost part of the pack. The gap between her and the lead horse was significant, likely more than 10 lengths. Upon receiving instructions from her jockey, HarpStar began to accelerate. With less than 200 meters remaining, the horses trailing behind surged forward all at once. HarpStar surged through the outermost part of the pack with the most powerful finishing kick. HarpStar drew level with Red River and overtook her. That moment marked the finish line. She successfully avenged herself. And there are not many races as impressive as this one. It will likely go down as one of the most remarkable races. HarpStar was naturally expected to win the double tiara, and she participated in the Oaks. She chased from about third from the back, and then fiercely rallied in the final stretch. However, it seems her horseshoe came off during the race. This might have had some effect on her final sprint. The leader was Nuova Record, who also wore a yellow cap, just like HarpStar. HarpStar chased her, but fell just short. A close second place. Even though she lost, considering her horseshoe came off, it can be said that she showed her strength sufficiently. Her acceleration is highly regarded, and it was announced that she will challenge the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe in October. To assess her suitability for European turf, it has been decided that she will participate in the Grade 2 Saporo Kinan, held on the Saporo course that uses turf similar to that in Europe. In this race, Gold Ship, who also planned to challenge the Arc de Triumph like her, competed, and these two horses attracted popularity. Once the race began, Gold Ship positioned at the rear, while HarpStar took a position just ahead of him. Around 800 meters remaining, HarpStar began to accelerate. Seeing this, Gold Ship also accelerated to chase her and improved his position. As they rounded the corner, they caught up with the leading pack, and entering the final straight, HarpStar was already in the lead. HarpStar extended her lead from this point onward. Although Gold Ship was chasing, the gap between them did not narrow. In the end, although the gap was closed, HarpStar secured a comfortable victory over Gold Ship. Her victory in the Saporo Kinan by a 3-year-old filly was the first in 22 years. HarpStar won against Gold Ship in the Saporo Kinan and headed to the Arc de Triumph in very good shape. Given the considerably lighter weight carried by 3-year-old fillies in the Arc de Triumph, she was highly anticipated. The race started, and she positioned herself in the rear group as usual. Just like in the Oka Show race, she made a late charge from the back in the final straight, but despite showing good spirit, she finished 6th. She was approximately 5 lengths behind the winner, Treve. Although she lost, it can be said that she put up a good fight in her first challenge as a Japanese filly. After returning to Japan, HarpStar participated in the Japan Cup. HarpStar was positioned slightly behind the midfield in this race. It felt like she had taken a more forward position than usual. As she entered the final straight, she was positioned near the back, as usual. She made a last sprint, but she struggled to close the gap with the horses ahead. Epiphania finished comfortably in first place. HarpStar finished 5th, trailing significantly behind him. The following year, HarpStar appeared in the Grade 2 Kyoto Kinan in February. Before the race, the focus of attention was concentrated on HarpStar and the Derby horse 1 year her senior, Kizuna, and they garnered intense popularity. HarpStar's position in this race was right around the middle. As she rounded the final corner and entered the home stretch, her momentum seemed decent. However, she couldn't accelerate strongly from there. She was overtaken by Kazuna coming from behind and ultimately finished 5th. It seems like HarpStar hasn't been showcasing her true strength lately, leaving fans feeling frustrated. HarpStar had plans to challenge Dubai this year. Despite being defeated in the Kyoto Kinan, she flew to Dubai as scheduled. She competed in the Dubai Shima Classic and garnered expectations such as becoming the favorite of British bookmakers. However, she couldn't demonstrate her sprinting ability in the final straight of the race. She ended up with a disappointing result of 8th out of 9 horses. After returning home, she had been training for the Victoria Mile in May, but due to lingering fatigue from the Dubai expedition, she had to withdraw from the race. Furthermore, she developed tendinitis afterward, leading to the decision for HarpStar to retire at this point. I would have liked to see her powerful race again, but it can't be helped. Her overall record was 5 wins out of 11 races. Koda, who served as her main jockey, said this about her: "This horse has never run at full throttle. HarpStar has become a broodmare. She has been in breeding since 2016, but she has had many instances of being barren, and so far, only 2 have debuted. They haven't performed well so far, but we're hoping for success in the future generations." That's all for this time. If you want to know more about Japanese horses, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.